Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's Fish Like a Local,
an Angler's podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran and first responder service organization.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I'm Captain Justin. You are listening to Fish Like a Local and Anglers podcast. Special guest tonight, Mr. Perry Shaw himself, a local legend here in Bon Secour.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. We're glad to have you, buddy. Robert Walker, what are we talking about tonight?
And we're talking about whether or not to fish. Because there's all these deciding factors. Sometimes it's personal, you've got work, your busy schedules, and sometimes you just gotta fish when you have the time to fish. But if you have that luxury of deciding whether or not to fish, some of those factors include Mother Nature, whether it be tides based on the moon phases, whether or not it be the wind factor. You know, all these things come into play when you're trying to figure in whether or not to fish. Barometric pressure being one of the largest of those factors.
Yeah.
Y'all got to remember that fish have a swim bladder, and it helps them maintain buoyancy. And when that barometric pressure is high, above 30.2, those fish are uncomfortable, and they automatically want to go deep. But then when the pressure drops right before a front to below 29.8, those fish go into a feeding frenzy because they know that that weather system is moving in. And then once that weather system passes, you've got the other side of that coin. That bluebird weather, where clear skies and flat water, is no good. That's the opposite effect of the weather, because those fish need tidal movement, you know, once they get comfortable. When there's no cloud cover, they're looking for somewhere to hide. So you've got to figure at what point does it level out and they go back into their normal feeding patterns. Well, that takes 2 or 3 days.
Right.
Of constant barometric pressure once it's leveled out.
You know, I try to read up on this stuff and study it a little bit, and it's so hard to keep up with. So you guys that are just getting into angling, just getting into fishing, the best thing I can tell you right out the gate is just go fishing. Learn that as you go. Start expanding your horizons. You know, Perry, you've got any insight onto that for somebody new coming in?
When I first started tournament fishing, I got so aggravated because I would spend like $140 for entry fees or $150, and it'd be bad weather, and I'd sit at home. I'd be like,
they're all bad.
There ain't
weather,
no
man.
way. So then I figured out, hey, you just gotta go. I started keeping a daily log of what different weather situations it's been in, and I refer back to that and whatever in my upcoming tournament, what that weather gonna be like, and it seemed to help me.
Right, and this is stuff that as you learn and you further yourself as an angler, to start studying up on and tracking. And that log, I know that's kind of old school to an extent, but you talk to these guys, if you've ever been with the old dogs down here that lived on the coast for their whole life fishing, they know this stuff and they study it and they keep it. And I just remember being a kid and guys talking about doing that in freshwater, even in watching conditions. So it's you know, do you have to worry about that if you're just getting into fishing, man? If you're doing that, just go fish, learn what you can learn. But as you get into what we're talking about today, I would say that's more of that advancement, first few steps. So Joe, what are you looking for? Like, what is your ideal conditions?
Ideal condition? First hour turnover, a high tide. I like a little bit of cloud coverage, nothing crazy. And honestly, pop-up rain showers can be very, very productive. So a pressure change. If it's a pop-up shower, it's going to be a barometric pressure change.
So the pressure's dropping.
A drop or a raise. I don't particularly know which one it is, but
I think on a rain it is a drop, because usually that's a cold kind of blast
right before. But also those pop-up showers help to wash the nutrients back into the water and help to wash some of the bait fish out of those grass lines and back into the water.
That makes sense.
And you got to remember that fish don't have eyelids.
Yeah.
So when it's full sun, they are looking for shady spots to hide in.
Makes
behind
sense.
those pile
That's
logs
why
and
you
under
find them
those
on
docks.
docks on sunny days.
Yeah.
They're on docks.
You know,
And when you have that cloud cover, they're less concerned about predators finding them, and that's when they move out away from those
Yep.
safe zones.
Agreed. Yeah, I think when you're in a tournament situation and it's been super sunny all day, like really warm conditions, that little rain shower that lasts 10 minutes, you better be throwing your ass off and catch a fish because it's gonna happen.
that's a pro tip from Joe the Pro right
Yeah.
there. So let's see what else we throw into
Yeah.
that. The tidal movement in that, is that something?
So people
Very
ask me all the time, especially implants that are here from other states, freshwater fishermen that are trying to learn how to catch fish in our saltwater fisheries. And they ask me what's better, high tide, low tide. And I tell them what's most important is a moving tide.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because fish are lazy. And it's a conveyor belt where they're sitting there and you see those sud lines and those predators are sitting on the outside waiting on that bait to come by so they can hit it. So if you'll fish the outside of those tide lines with a paddle shrimp or maybe one of these paddle tails here to give them the opportunity as it passes by to ambush that prey.
Yep.
Right. I got you. Now, so when those fronts coming through, and we're going to get real deep in the weeds with this whole thing, we're talking about the fronts and then colliding with the tides. You're talking got to be moving. How? Let's say we're tournament fishing, Joe,
Okay.
Barry. You guys have done a lot more of that than I have, and you're looking at that. You know the tide's dead. You got a front coming in. What are you looking for in that combination? If you're throwing the tidal movement in there, are you wanting? What is your favorite?
I'm gonna sit at home.
You know,
If the tide's not moving, I don't want to fish.
weather front or not.
Yeah.
So,
Where-
tidal movement first, probably before the front or conditions. If it's a neat tide, it's out.
You're
Wherever
going
I
to have to
could
hit them
find
in the
the-
head.
The cleanest water and where the movement of the tide is going so good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, so Perry, what's more important, tidal flow or wind speed? Because if the wind's blowing the bait,
Tidal flow.
okay, so if there's no tidal flow and a neat tide, and you have wind
So it's a heavy
direction,
wind.
There is a current
correct, created by the wind.
by
Yep.
the wind.
So how do you find the fish?
Several different ways. You just have to.
Is that going to be like an opposite bank thing, like we talked about on the Hunt Channel last year?
Well, it could be. To me, a lot of people say go to the windy side of the bank. That's where all the wind gonna blow the bait fish. Some people says all the bait fish. Some of the bait fish gonna stay where the calm area goes,
Yeah,
so they can
protected.
swim around. So basically, it's however you want to fish.
So,
Yeah.
so you're saying there's not a system to be implemented there. You just got to go out in those conditions and figure it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What they say, 80% of the fish is in 10% of the water.
Yeah. That's the
Nine-
salt strong, I think.
90-10 rule.
90-10 rule,
90%,
yeah.
90, yeah.
I think the key to really catching fish is just cover water. You know, no matter what the given situation is, you cover water, you're gonna find fish eventually.
Exactly.
And again, I don't want to beat a dead horse with this, but you're not going to catch fish sitting at home and go fishing.
Yep.
You
No.
know,
That's how you're gonna learn too.
You're not going to catch them sitting on the couch.
Yeah, they're not coming to you. I can promise you that. So unless you go order it from like the seafood market, and that's no fun. Well, what else? Who's been catching fish this week, Joe? I know you caught some pompano this weekend.
Yeah.
Caught some stingrays. We had a good time with Blaine's tournament.
I had a blast with redfish.
You got on the reds this week?
I
Tell us a
got
little bit
red
about that,
On
maybe.
the weekends.
Don't
They
give
were
away your
great.
spot.
I was fishing. I knew it was going to be a little warm, so I had me a little live bait shrimp. Had me a
Smoked.
little Carolina rig set up, and I just thrown it out there and set it with.
Any
Wind.
particular holes you want to give Joe and I know where? I'm just kidding.
I know where it's at.
I know.
And-
Ah,
No,
okay.
you don't.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, we know where he was at.
You might
I
know
seen the
where I'm
pictures.
at, but you don't have the spot. I'm
Right.
at.
Was it the island?
No.
The one underwater?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah.
That's funny. Perry, what is your handle on Facebook? You're Bassin' the Dream.
Bassett's Dream is my page, and I do a lot of my posting on my personal page of Perry Shaw Jr.
Guys, Perry is an avid angler and a very good angler. When I joined the Bond Score Butchers, him and Joe consistently kicked my hind parts. Perry more than others, and immediately was nice enough to take me out and show me some stuff that he knew that I didn't know, and I'm very grateful for that. Go give him a follow on Facebook.
Yep.
Bass in the Dream, Perry Lee Shaw, you said?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What else we got?
Spanish are moving in. They're
Yeah.
showing
Oh,
up.
that's one of my
Collegiates.
favorite.
Yeah.
That's one of my
I mean,
favorite.
Pompano's showing up.
Pompano.
Spanish are showing up.
Yeah, those two fish usually coincide when they start to show up.
Timeline, yeah, that first
water
April.
temp starts moving up, and
I want to give a shout out on a lure for that, because so last year running our charter trips, we were from April to all the way through the summer. We ended up taking these Lunker Hunt distress minnows. Now these were not necessarily made for trolling; they're just suspended jerk baits. Man, we started trolling these on some 20-pound fluoro. I went as high as 40-pound mono on them. And the better they swim, the more fish we caught. But we caught so many Spanish mackerel on that lure right there. Go out and get you some of those, cast them off the pier, troll them behind your boat, cast them over artificial reefs near the beach. This time of year, you're going to wax them. Anything like this, but this lure in particular, we crushed them with last year.
I'm gonna do the same thing, dude. This is a hex head jig from Frisky Fins right here. It is essentially just a bucktail jig, but the front of it is angled like a gotcha plug, and it works back and forth in the water the same way a gotcha plug would. But this thing will be red by the end of the day, or not have any
All the hair
fur
gone.
left, dude. This thing is
Bucktails are my favorite on that.
Yeah.
killer.
Say a little
Frisky
French.
Fins is making these right here in Lower Alabama.
Yeah, it's money.
Y'all go check out his website, order these hex head jigs, go to the pier, go to the beach, look for those birds diving. Take you a light tackle spinning rod and reel and a couple of these, and just have a good time.
Hey, but
Absolutely.
this goes back to, these toothy critters. I like to use mono, but do you guys like to use wire, or do you think it matters?
It does to an extent. So kings, you're going to want some wire a lot of times, but I will say I didn't use a lot of it last year, really, because we weren't just out there targeting smoker kings, but that mouthful of razor blades. I've been dropping some of the little stranded wire that's easy to tie, maybe like 6 inches on some of them. Again, when I'm using these, they just don't swim as good with the wire. But on that, chunking it, if you're looking, again, Spanish, I don't think you need the wire with Spanish.
No.
A lot of people swear by it, but if you look at the guys that really kill them, they're fishing 20-pound fork on it.
If I'm throwing this or a gotcha plug, I'm using 50-pound mono.
50?
I am.
Dang.
Wow.
I am. And I'm not using a gold or silver swivel. It
No.
has to be black, because
You don't
those
want the
Spanish
shine.
will bite you off at the
100%.
swivel.
So you're going to use a swivel instead of...
I typically do
Okay.
on that setup. Inshore, I'm tying a Crazy Alberto. I know you're tying a
Slim Beauty?
Slim Beauty.
Yeah.
Perry, what are you tying on your braid to mono?
FG.
FG?
Yeah.
I'm a
FG.
double uni. I'll throw a similar rig, Robert, when we're cast at them with these. I don't use the swivel there. I go to the double uni. I do use a swivel with these a lot of times, and the reason being, if we're trolling them, it does help when they get whirled up.
Sure. Yeah, they
Sometimes
get
helps with
twisted.
tangles or twisting the braid.
My problem is I can't tie 50-pound mono to 20-pound braid.
It's tough.
So you're going to have to teach me
It's
how to
tough.
do that without a swivel. That's the problem, is I need the extra tensile strength because of the amount of teeth in the Spanish's mouth.
And I'm probably a lot lighter than a lot of guys are on that. But
Yeah.
it's doable. It's just, I'll tell you who would teach you, man. It's my wife.
Yeah?
Toki can tie a knot, man. She kills it on the boat, and she could take you to school at the time with Toki up.
I mean, I can do the Crazy Alberto on a 20 to 30 or a 10 to 10, in that area. But when I'm going from 20 to 50, I personally have to have a barrel swivel.
So what's the reason behind 50? Is it just kind of like a comfort preference kind of ordeal?
It withstands more teeth,
Yeah.
more hits.
Yeah.
If I drop down to 20, Frisky's gonna have to give me a lot more.
Yeah, I like to
That's
stick
the-
with 30.
Okay, that's
but
better than 20.
Not fluorocarbon. It's got to be
No,
monofilament.
gotta be mono.
Yeah,
I kept
fluorocarbon.
saying fluoro. Mono is where it's at with that.
Yeah.
I'm not. People scream about fluoro,
No.
and I don't know why that kept coming out.
It's crap.
Mono.
I will
Save
go on
your
record.
money.
I will go on record as saying that it is a ripoff.
Yeah.
There's no give to it. It breaks. It's brittle. You start tying
Frays.
knots with it. It frays.
Yeah.
For the bang for your buck, to get that spring out of that mono. You put 10-pound fluoro inshore and hit a 7-pound red, and he turns and runs the other way, he's popping you. You're using 10-pound mono and hit a 7-pound red.
Unless your drag's not locked down.
That's
If you're
my
fishing
favorite.
drag like Captain
Okay,
E fishes drag,
okay.
you don't got to worry about that.
But then you got to pull him out of the pylons.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Then you got to pull him out of the pylons, and if you're using fluoro,
You're not.
there's no give, and you're not pulling him
Not
out.
pulling him out.
So we're right back to mono.
Yeah, yeah. I
catch-22.
fished that mono, dude, and you're supposed to turn
You're
it
taking
off.
business calls
Yeah.
tonight.
No.
I've
I've had those heavier redfish eat my lure and take laps around docks. And guess what? Using mono, I'm able to pull that fish out of that structure and successfully land that fish.
I will say about mono on the reef, you will not see me with mono on reels, but I will use it for leaders every
Yeah.
time. And a lot of that is a lot of my guests, they don't bottom fish a lot at home. Most of them aren't from in a saltwater area. And the feel they get with that braid, just dropping a live bait or a cut squid or anything down there, is so much easier for them to hook a fish if it doesn't just get smoked. Like we're catching vermilion, that's a lighter bite. Now red snapper, they're gonna grab that. They're gonna know it's there no matter what. But that being said, also you get that mono down in a wreck. If you got all mono line, you're pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling that stretch. There's so much stretch in it.
Yeah.
So there's a good and bad with it. Now the beauty of it in the leader is you need that stretch, but it's a short run. So I don't recommend it on the rod and reel for even inshore. I'm just nothing against it. I know there's a lot of mono guys out there still, but I'm fishing braid on everything, even my charter reels now, mono leaders, and it's just a feel thing for me. Even sheepshead fishing.
What about you, Perry? You like mono or fluoro?
I like fluoro because I do a lot of kayak fishing.
Yeah.
So my feel is, you got a lot of cushion
Yeah.
when you're in kayak because your boat is going
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
So it goes spread.
Okay.
So you want
And you can
more
move with your
solid,
fish.
Okay.
That
makes sense.
More
Yeah.
solid. So I use fluorocarbon.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah.
I fish a lot out of kayak and use mono. Yeah, but I honestly just
You don't have that
Hate
spring
fluoro.
with fluorocarbon.
I just hate it.
And tying fluoro is a little tougher. It doesn't tie.
It doesn't
cinch as
cinch.
good. Yeah.
it doesn't cinch as good.
I've had some knots. I
use a loop knot.
don't care how many
So-
years you've been fishing. If you're a captain that's been captaining for 50 years or you're new, I don't care. If they tell you they've not had a knot slip, they're lying. I mean, that's just the way it is. Everybody's going to do it. You're going to make a mistake eventually.
Yeah.
And mono just seems easier to keep that mistake from happening. It cinches up so much better. Even the bigger stuff. We're tying up some 80 or bigger for a big amberjack, and I could still cinch those knots down.
Yeah. But back to the toothy critters, man. I'm actually really pumped up to get out and target some kings this summer, man. For
Let's
real.
do it. Let's do it.
Snob some SIGs or some freelines, some LYs, something.
I'm sitting on go to get some Spanish. We've got to tweak some things on the boat this week, and we all need to get out and get this.
I think I'm gonna head to the pier. So
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a
I
good
got
idea.
gas money.
let's go. Oh wait, for the
Oh,
boat.
for the boat?
Yeah.
We need to get on the water next week and catch some Spanish.
100%.
100.
Uh,
What else?
Now, I was going to go back to, all right, so I can name multiple tournament fishermen, friends of mine, that don't use a leader at all.
Oh, yeah,
Outfish
yeah.
I
me
used to not.
consistently. Win dozens of more tournaments than I ever will. And they tell me it's about the presentation of the bait, not the line.
Yeah. There's a strong argument there.
The only reason why I use fluorocarbon or mono would be it's a lot easier for me to tie on a bait on the fly than what it would be
The braid.
if I had a braid trying to go straight to the leader.
Yeah.
I actually tried that last week because I had my braid my fluorocarbon get all messed up. So I had a little bit of my FG knot, a little bit of fluorocarbon left, so I just cut my braid,
Yeah.
tied the slip off. What happens? I get a hit, and there goes my
Lost it.
there goes my tackle.
Yeah, what's crazy is those tournaments you were talking about, me and Perry were whooping on you. I
Yeah.
didn't use a leader. at that
I
time.
remember you doing that, but
Yeah.
in my opinion on that is probably some of our water, even at our clearest
Yeah.
days up here, it doesn't look like South Florida. Now, if you're down in South Florida,
Yeah.
maybe that's a different story down there to these same guys. If like some of them went down there and fished in some water that is crystal clear, maybe it would mean something to them then. I could see here, like if you're throwing like a moss green line or a water camo or something in this water as murky as we get around these backwaters, that it wouldn't be an issue as far as the stealth on it.
And that's typically the color they're throwing, is a moss green.
Moss
Yeah.
green is what I
Now-
like.
Now I can tell you, I was not catching no tournament winning trout that way. It just wasn't happening.
Trout seem to be a little
Yeah,
more
they-
finicky with
They
that.
got really good eyesight.
Yeah.
Now redfish, dude, I think if you threw a cigarette butt in the water, they'd eat it.
I caught some big trout off of Port Carbon and
Yeah.
moss green braid.
So to tell you how much redfish will eat anything, I caught one in the West Lagoon one time, was filleting it to eat it. When I cut its stomach open, I noticed it had what I thought might have been a lure in it, but it was a toy dinosaur from a kid. Like this long, like a lizard of some kind, not a fishing bait. It had eaten a child's toy. So redfish will eat anything.
My wife swears by it, but she's always tell me, take hot dogs with
For a redfish.
it for a redfish.
I could.
You think you put it on a
Take
jig?
hot dogs.
You could. It's a string of
That's
line
right.
through it and a treble out
Working
the back.
like a flute.
Yeah.
That's what her uncle always used, and he's from around
One
here.
v one v
We're all-
one v one.
The hot dog challenge is coming.
How many hardheads do you think you're gonna catch
Oh,
before you
God.
find a target
That's-
species?
Well, that'd be a Captain Keith fish when he gets back. He's not with us tonight here on the show, but he knows a little something about catching those guys. He's fought a few of them recently and lost. And I mean that not by like breaking him off, but I'll let him tell that story another day. But we almost lost him, we thought. No, I'm just kidding. He's fine. He did lose feeling in his hand, though.
So last week the water temp dropped like 2 or 3 degrees. Do you think that's gonna have effect on, the bite the next?
Slow down.
Mm.
When
Yeah.
it gets
I think they
colder,
get more
slow
lethargic.
down.
Yeah, but
When it gets warmer, slow down.
yeah, slow down.
There's a fine line there of either way.
But do you think that's gonna hold back the kings from coming in though? Those pelagic?
Kings, yeah, because they're looking for a little warmer water.
Yeah.
I say warmer. They're not. They're coming from warmer waters. Obviously, they're migrating south to north. I think we hit on that last episode.
You just have to find the temperature that they're holding at.
Yeah.
Because just because the surface temperature drops doesn't mean that there's
10
not
feet down.
an area
Yeah.
where they're holding.
I think it was David Thornton. He was the one that made the post that I was reading, and it was some buoy that reads below the surface temp.
Well, if you think about that in the scope of trolling, a lot of times I'll troll baits for kings or Spanish, and we'll have one of these guys that'll be hanging right around the surface, or we'll have a number 1 or 2 planer or bigger, depending on what water we're on, to get that bait down. And if we get a hookup or two and it's on the same one, we go, okay, well, that planer's diving 15, 20 feet. We know they're holding in the column there. We might as well switch. There's no sense at that point in having the top bait. Switch it all up and try to start doubling up on them. So that's something to think about too. And we touched on that with even in pompano fishing. When you find where your bite is, if you're spreading your casts out, I've heard guys talk about having one in the first little bit of a trough, a little further. After a hookup or two, if you know it's been on this one, bring them all in.
Yep.
Same thing with trolling depths, I believe, or even dropping, or I'm assuming even if you're throwing for them, casting for them, maybe letting that bait sink a little further before you start twitching it instead of ripping
Yeah.
it right on the surface. So,
sure.
I think that same rule applies for every kind of fish.
yeah.
Bass, speck, crappie,
Yeah.
it don't
Well,
matter. When you find that depth, go
Stick
to
it.
it.
Well, you think about us as humans, and Robert touched on some of this about comfort zones. If it's cold, I'm a little lethargic. If it's too hot, I'm a little lethargic.
Yeah.
That sweet spot, I'm out 70 degrees. I'm out moving around all day. I'm not dying of heat exhaustion, and I'm not freezing. I'm more likely to be more active. So, fish and animals we're all animalistic at our base core. So, I don't know. Maybe we overthink this sometimes. Maybe we just have to look at it like that, just from that perspective, and say, what would I be doing?
So you got any pro tips?
Just get off the couch and go fishing.
Oh yeah.
Find out what works
Best
for
one
you.
yet.
Best pro tip yet.
Yeah.
Well, shoot, man,
man,
we
we
did on
still-
a lot. We moved around quick tonight, guys.
I think we still have quite a bit of time too. Robert, is there anything you want to key in on, and anything?
So, can I throw something at you?
Yeah,
Robert?
man.
So,
Hit me.
Perry, you've been throwing some Q8 recently, right?
Right.
So, what has been your Your what have you been catching on these lately? I know you were talking with them.
Flounder, I
they're
caught
sure.
redfish on one last week, and caught 2 flounder on the other. But I think it worked great.
That worked
And
pretty
durable. I went through one all day.
It held up all day.
Yeah, all day.
I wonder how long have you ever, when you're talking with them, Robert, have you ever found out on their scent trail what they recommend, how long that lasts?
If you hadn't put me on the spot, I probably could have told you.
Dude, I think those lures specifically, I can catch 15 fish on one lure and they're still
Exactly.
trying
So,
to eat it. So.
Are y'all keeping that at the top of your list in the arsenal right now this time of year?
Yeah. Yeah, I like the pink one. It's like a pink orange.
I like that brown and white.
I don't have one. I would point it out to you. But it's good. It's money.
Right on, right on.
And right
Well,
now,
I was playing with this 4 horseman popping cork.
Yeah, I
last
forget
week.
you're a popping cork guy. When we were out last time, you were throwing a popping cork. Tell us
Exactly.
about that.
I was playing with it. I didn't fish it too much, but man, it makes a great sound. And where's that little bomber that? He has a little bomber that goes with it.
A bomber.
it's a
Yeah,
boom
that
boom.
little.
Talk about
Big
the shrimp.
boom shrimps.
I gotta look at it. Them things work together
Oh,
good
yeah.
for
Yeah,
me.
show the folks
I mean,
at home that.
I really haven't fished it real hard, but when I do, I'm gonna go to this.
That's your go-to.
Yeah.
I got
I've
some
watched
places
them.
I want to go. I want to take these at. I will probably catch. I know I will.
Oh, you'll catch fish for sure.
This sucker right here. Let's do it.
Does it make you want to eat it?
Yeah. No,
That's
that
awesome.
one made
Yeah.
Having Perry on tonight, that's a little different spin on some of the things we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Because most of us, I don't throw a popping cork much. I know Joe don't.
I throw it pretty often.
You
in
throw
the
'em?
fall.
Really? Okay, I'm
And I
starting to
work
talk
them,
about that.
work them very aggressively.
Yeah, but
Gotcha.
why in the fall?
Yeah, what's the difference?
I don't know, man.
Because right now, the seed shrimp, those little baby boom booms right there,
Yeah, like-
That boom boom. That's what. Yeah.
are the size of the hatch.
I don't
Okay.
know.
That's right.
So right now, that's the size of the hatch, and you put it underneath the popping cork that simulates the sound of those fish feeding on those shrimp.
Yeah.
And when they come and actually see that shrimp, that's when you get the hook.
Yeah.
Don't forget your split shot.
Really.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want your leader to have nothing. Even though it's a low weight here, you want to have a split shot about a
Just to get
foot,
a
maybe
little
6
quicker
inches
fall
up
on 'em.
above, so that way it pop up and give it more action.
That's gonna be a good reel. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, I love a popping cork, and I don't know why the fall, Robert. To answer your question, I think it's just the fall.
I mean,
festivity.
even right now with those tiny alewives that
Yeah.
are coming through, these big hammer and this 2-inch are matching the hatch of the size of those fish,
Yeah.
of that bait. And if you put one of these under a popping cork, it doesn't even have to be a shrimp. You're still simulating the
What's down
sound of the
Of a
predators
shrimp.
feeding, and when they show up, they see the hatch.
That's what we go.
So it's pretty amazing what some of these tackle guys do. So I hadn't looked at these much, but seeing this now, like in the summer, we do a lot of just chasing bonita, chasing Spanish, sight casting them from the boat. I like to have my guests do that. And most of the time, they're vomiting up bait when they jump in the boat when we flip them in, and it looks like this. So, and these are big fish. You know, these
Yeah.
they're eating peanuts basically. These big fish. So it's even that's very much going on right now. But even into the summer, those bonita, you know, they're basically like a blackfin tuna almost.
Right.
And they're coming on the boat. You would think they're eating baits that's bigger, but they're spitting up these guys. So I think maybe we overthink that
Oh,
sometimes too.
100%. Because what happens when you've got this size bait and those predators are in there feeding on it, and you throw a 6-inch paddle tail in there, those predators think there's another predator
Another
in the
predator.
area feeding.
Yep.
They don't see that as more as food. They see that as competition that's taking their bait, and they're not going to destroy it.
Yeah,
They're going to move
100%.
out of the way and continue feeding on what's in the area.
I guarantee you, they know what the hash is.
Yeah.
They know.
And that's why these work well too for those type things, chasing those Spanish bonita, because it's smaller and you can chunk it and rip it right down and it looks like bait.
Yeah, it looks like a squid, a flashy.
Glass minnow.
Yeah, it's just flashy.
And I
Yeah.
promise you, when you're targeting those Spanish, if you think you're reeling too fast, you're not.
Yeah.
That you cannot humanly reel fast enough with any rod or reel I own to outmaneuver those Spanish mackerel.
Yeah.
You know, and those fish have lateral lines on them. They actually can feel where the bait is based on where those lateral lines are. So I like a chop because it disorients those bait balls. And when those predator fish like the Spanish mackerel are in there using those lateral lines to find their bait,
Yeah.
I got you.
Dude, in some of the best days to catch those pelagics is nasty weather days. Like,
Yeah, the kings seem to love that.
they love
oh
it.
yeah, they get fired up.
Yeah, and I'm talking about, nasty, like thunderstorms and crashing
I get
waves.
fired up on every fish when it comes to nasty weather.
Well, again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If it's calm and flat and nothing moving, the fish, they feel it. They don't. I've been on the Gulf out there on the big water on those days where it's like glass and you can't catch anything. It's just not happening. So, man, guys, this has been a great episode.
Yeah,
I've
man.
learned a lot. Well, you got Perry. Thank you for coming, man. We
You're
appreciate
welcome.
you being here. We want to give a little shout out to our team here, our producer
Yeah.
Giovanni, his assistant Trevor.
Gio,
Thank you guys,
Gio.
Gio. Barefoot Insurance Brokers, guys, commercial insurance. Check these guys out online. So many good things going on right now. We're looking forward to this year. It's going to be an awesome year. So, thank you guys for coming out and watching us. Hope to see you next week. Peace.
Sunrise on the water, that bite getting hotter. It's fish like a local.
An Angler's Podcast. Fish Like a Local is proudly brought to you by Barefoot Insurance Brokers for all your commercial insurance needs. Reel's Good Prestige Worldwide, the Gulf Coast's top outdoor marketing company. A Hero, America's heroes enjoying recreation outdoors, a veteran and first responder service organization.